Radio all day? That's right, my friend. There's no shame in it. It's the good life. And we're not here to snitch. Hey, if your company advertised on Sports 1440, you could be the one listening for your company's ad every day. Now you've got an excuse to listen to Sports 1440 all day. It's part of the job. Sounds like someone's getting a promotion. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca and let's get to work for you.
The longest-running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace replacement company for lovers. Because the best aphrodisiac is no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace from Legacy. So forget about the oysters, baby. If you really want to check the heat, we can be a thermal couple, baby. Give me your sweet loving legacy. Heat things up with no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You need the lowdown? It's with Lowetide right now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, McDavid makes his Olympic debut today, plus Leon and Josh Szymanski, and we are underway. The Slovaks win over the Finns. In men's hockey, it's on in Italy. What a time to be alive and to be a hockey fan. You missed those games? Well, they're coming right up. The Lowdown brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick, family-owned and community-driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. I want to begin the show with a few comments about the community of Tumbler Ridge. I know you've heard the horrific news. It's still hitting us. The reports coming out of the town are just absolutely devastating. And I think we can all relate to what's happening in Tumbler Ridge in that community today. In a world that gets more difficult by the minute, this is truly a shocking moment. And our hearts are all with those who've lost loved ones, and we share their pain. A moment of great sadness and sorrow. And we are thinking of you, Tumbler Ridge, today, and are sending our love to you. We are live on YouTube and Sports 1440, also sports1440.ca, iHeartRadio, and Radio Player Canada. After the show, it's on Apple and Spotify podcast. We tweet it out on X. We're available on Twitter at Lowetide and at JFenwick04. You'll notice that it's a shorter group today. We'll tell you why in two shakes of a lamb's tail. You can text us at 833-401-1440. That's 833-401-1440. We have, looking forward to it, Kevin McCurdy joining us today at 1 o'clock. Going to ask him how many Edmonton Oilers forwards are outperforming the Bakersfield Condors. And that includes Szymanski, but also Ike Howard and Quinn Hudson and other folks down there like Roby Yervente. So we'll talk to Kevin McCurdy today at 1 o'clock about it. We'll obviously talk Olympics, pitchers and catchers, lots of injuries today. Hamate bones are wrecking havoc on the major leagues of baseball before anybody, plays a preseason game. It's wild times. All right. One introduction today. One. They've all abandoned me. He is the future of broadcasting. Articulate, quick on his feet, thorough, and like Zach Bryan, he sees something in the orange. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick.
Thanks for that. A good Zach Bryan,
pull?
Yes, that's the word I was looking for, pull.
Yeah. I finally got that you're not a Luke Bryan fan.
Yeah, we finally got there. We figured it out.
Zach Bryan fan. So I wanted to acknowledge that I have learned. So tell us where the two stragglers are, and they're not stragglers; they're actually working right now.
The other two chuckleheads, yes, are actually doing work. They are away at the Elks Media Avail, introducing the new players that the Elks have signed.
And there's a bit of a laundry list, right? Like
Bit of a laundry list. They
yeah.
had quite a few signings. I don't have them all in front of me, but I know that it takes more than one hand to count them. So that's where they are. Declan, much like he taught me, is probably teaching Big Mike how to act in a scrum and what a scrum's all about and things like that. Grab an audio for the Krueger show as well. So
I always love every once in a while somebody will comment on my blog and they'll say something like, "Why didn't the media guy go in there, poke the microphone in the coach's face and say, 'What the hell did you do that for?'" And I'm like, they got to interview them like the next game too, right? Like there's a certain amount of decorum in that. So it's good that Big Mike, I don't know if she's okay with that one.
yeah, no,
All
she well, I mean, whether she is or isn't, I don't really know, but that's the thing about nicknames. You don't get to choose them and you don't get to be okay with them, even if they're bad. My one friend, also named Josh, is nicknamed Kitty. And we will not get into why he is nicknamed Kitty, but he does not like it.
So we're probably not going to call you Kitty, although it's...
No, it's for him. He had this jacket that was very fluffy. And so my best friend started calling him Kitty. And then there's some extra stuff that sort of made it stick as well. So,
we'll
lucky guy.
So what have you watched at the Olympics in recent days?
So yesterday I finished up the women's hockey game.
Boy, America looks good. Man.
Yeah, where I'm going to say we because I'm Canadian, got absolutely curb stomped. So that was unfortunate.
I think the USA is at a different level. No disrespect to Canada. I love Canada. I will cheer like hell for Canada. I have that Haley Wickenheiser speech memorized, but this is going to be a tough row to hoe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's that they're older, right? They don't have that the Canada is older. They don't have all the young guns that the USA does. And so they're out there and they're able to get quite fast at times and everything. So if Canada can still win the gold, I don't know what the athletic medal tracker is at for that, which going into the women's round robin, it was 50-50 essentially between Canada and the US. But they only have to win one game. They're not going into a series. They're not going into anything. They only have to win one. So that's ideal.
Canada has short track, silver, and then bronze in freestyle skiing and speed skating. No medals yet today. And we'll keep you updated on that as we go along. As the NHL is off on a break, there's lots of trade talk and players maybe heading out of town. One of the key names that I've been reading about is Nazem Kadri. And we have talked about Kadri on this show from time to time about what he might be able to bring a team. Oilers, I don't think that they have the torque simply because there's not a lot of cap room there. But a team like Dallas has been rumored. You watch the Flames certainly more than I do. I would have thought Blake Coleman was the guy I would like to see on a particular team. I think he's a really good player. Kadri is a unique player, though. How much of the real Kadri is still left? Is he still that nasty guy with skill?
Well, I think there's skill doesn't leave you, right? Like you just at
the
times
hands slow down.
The hands slow down, but your brain still knows how to do it. So it's whether your body can cooperate or not. I think at times Kadri's body is still able to keep up with his brain, but it's not there all the time. Obviously, he's not on pace for 20 goals this season, which is unfortunate. I think he'd be a great third line center for somebody, which is unfortunate that you're paying a third line center that sort of money, but that's just sort of the way it is when you sign a guy long term. I would move Coleman out. Obviously, I think you get an absolute haul for him. Unfortunately, I think he's still injured as of the roster freeze, so he can't get moved. But once that gets shored up, I think he should be shipped out of town, sent to a contender in the East.
You probably get a lot. I'm not saying you're going to get Anderson stuff for him.
No, not saying you get Anderson stuff. Well, maybe depending on who you send him to.
Well, Ken Holland need anybody?
I don't know. Does Chris Drury feel like Blake Coleman could be integral to a rebuild in New York?
Well, it's at least worth a phone call, right?
I mean, like, the guy's already crapped the bed enough. Why don't you just pick up the phone and see what you can do to take things away from that ragamuffin? I have to imagine that's what people in the NBA thought also after Nico Harrison sent Luka out of town.
Yeah. The team I'm looking for at the deadline, the Carolina Hurricanes, they are, good every year, but like for 4 years in a row, they've been bumped, usually by the Panthers, sometimes the Rangers. And, they need help at center, right? I don't think Kadri's an option because he's a little bit too old and they need somebody higher in the lineup. But that's a team that I would look for at the trade deadline. I think Dallas probably, Carolina, the Oilers will do their stuff. Offloading, apparently the Leafs are rumored to be quite involved in shopping several players. So we'll wait on and see on that. And then the Minnesota Wild, like they don't have enough goaltenders. The goalie for Slovakia today is a Wild prospect. So they are loaded. And Jesper Wallstedt, believe it or not, is on some trade list. I know he's on the Athletic trade list as a possibility. Now the Oilers have already solved their goaltending problem, but that would be interesting. Declan reporting, this is via Declan Krueger on X. Alex free agency introductory press conference is wrapping up now. Full article and transcript coming to elsnation.com, and he'll also be on with us and talking
eventually.
To us. Well, I'm sure he's hurrying back, right?
Probably not. Where I think the surveil was at Commonwealth.
Right. So that's
he'll probably be back to do the update.
That's a boat.
I think I'll be nice enough to write it for him.
Oh, you're a good man. You're a really good man. So in Edmonton, there was the Paul Coffey talk. That seems to have gone away. Jason Gregor had some interesting thoughts on it on Monday. I know you tuned in and heard him talking about it. But the Oilers as an organization, they don't seem to be coming together in a way that invites confidence in the future, for me anyway, as they currently are structured. Now, I'm not suggesting that Stan Bowman's going anywhere or that Chris Knobloch is going anywhere, but I am saying that the moves that were made in the summertime by the Edmonton Oilers free agency are moves that right now anyway are looking like they might have a little bit of failure to them. I mean, there's obvious ones. When you look at Trent Frederick and how he's played, I like Frederick as a player, but he has not played at the level that they needed him to. Ike Howard was a player that they were going to have in the lineup, and they really haven't that much. And when he does play, he doesn't play a feature role. I wrote about it at The Athletic today. So I think that one thing that I'm looking for from the Edmonton Oilers at the deadline, while we talk deadline here, is the acquisition of players that Chris Knobloch is going to play in feature roles. I'm not being critical of not playing Frederick as outstanding scorer, or Mangiapane or any of those things, or even Ike Howard. But it seems to me that there was at least an attempt by the organization to get younger. And that doesn't seem to have taken, aside from Matthew Savoy. And so is Ike Howard a guy that you might trade for a player that fits the Chris Knobloch, template for what he is looking for? I mean, I think he's looking for a big center or winger who can play on a skill line and brings toughness and is a two-way player, responsible defensively. Now, we don't know how that's going to look. We don't know what the player is. I mean, ideally, it's Alex Tuck. I don't think he's coming here. That said, the Edmonton Oilers had an opportunity to spend some time with Ike Howard on a skill line. And when he played, by the way, with McDavid and Draisaitl, he did well. It did not happen this year. It just didn't. And so that's fine. But I think that when we approach the deadline and they have not a lot of money in terms of cap, it's dollars in, dollars out. And they have the 2027 first-round pick, but it might take more than that to get the player they're after. I do wonder today if Ike Howard might be a candidate to be dealt by the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, it's only been a few months. He hasn't played that much. He's rocking it in the AHL. He is, for everything, all intents and purposes, he's doing everything but forcing his way onto the roster. And it has not happened yet. So there you go. We will be talking about Major League Baseball and pitchers and catchers reporting. There's been several players who are now having surgery because of broken hamate bones, which is by the pinky finger, I believe, is what I was told. It's a very small bone. It breaks easily. And Francisco Lindor, Corbin Carroll, and Jackson Holiday are all having this surgery right now. And there's out, I think it's like 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 8. And then the lingering problem might be a loss of power. So I think that would probably impact Lindor more than anybody, but we'll update that as the day goes on. There's going to be tons of baseball reporting over the next several weeks because they're back, baby. And that's good news, something that I look forward to every year, specifically in the last few years after I've forgiven baseball. But we're also, tracking, and I think it's going to be very interesting to find out what Declan says about the Edmonton Elks. They had their media avail to introduce all the new players and acquisitions and kind of give a thumbnail sketch of what, is going to be happening for this Edmonton Elks team. This is a vital year for the Edmonton Elks. So when they say, Taylor Powell is locked in, I think these are important things for the Edmonton Elks. And we're going to get a report coming up. Do you think he'll be here before 1?
Who, Declan?
Yes.
Yeah, I imagine he will be if he's leaving now.
Yeah.
I know sometimes he does have a tendency to sit in his car after some of these avails and listen back to the audio he grabs so he can make tweets about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he'll be doing that today since he is coming straight here while we are live.
Could be.
So I imagine he is actually rushing back. But you know what? Who knows? Elks Nation. He's got to pump out content for them.
Yeah, the Elks have signed defensive lineman Millie Carney through 2027. He'll be all over that because former Rough Rider. So, that's a big deal. Fun time in the CFL. I prefer the draft, but I do like free agency, and teams can get better in a quick hurry if they make good decisions. And I think the Elks have last year and will continue to do this year. So, usually I'm reacting to something Declan said, and that's just not the way today. I miss the guy, big buddy. When you talk about the Calgary Flames at the deadline, are you expecting a lot of moves?
I expect 2 moves.
And
I want
they
to see
are?
Coleman and Kadri out.
Okay.
That's what I want to see. I know the guys at Flames Nation, when the Rasmus deal got done, they said they set like the over under essentially in their own brains at 2.5 for deals done. I think they all took the over, thinking the exact same thing as me. Kadri gone, Coleman gone. There could be a random move out there, but I know that ownership is really breathing down Conroy's spine about having a competitive team for that first year in the new arena, which only gives them 1 year to figure it out essentially after this. And I think the way you do that is by moving out Kadri and Coleman, because guess what? They're only getting older.
Right. Did you tweet out the show link?
I did not tweet it out. I sort of just tend to leave that to Declan, but I can do it.
Okay, if you attach my name to it, I will send it out too, so we can get
All
people rolling on
Give
that.
me a second here. It'll be out before we come back.
All right. Okay, we'll take a break. On the way, rumors. We have Kevin McCurdy coming up 1 o'clock. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. I wasn't picking on you. You must have a lot going on there. I just didn't see it. Very good, Joe. How are you?
Yeah, no, I totally see where you're coming from. Joe, I'm going to have to let you go. I just got a lot of hands in the fire right now. From the locker room to your radio. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much for calling, pal. All right. Later.
I know exactly what you're thinking. It's just like, but you did it well. You weren't a jerk.
metalsupermarkets.com.
It's
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
to you by Wolf GMC Buick, family owned and community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. It is time for Rumors, presented by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. The big news, of course, the Olympics, and the hockey is underway today. Slovakia beating Finland in a stunner, 4-1 to get things rolling. Canada plays today as well. And for Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, this is the first time the NHL took a dozen years off and was not a part of the Olympics. So anybody who was drafted in that 2014-15 window has been waiting a long time. And it is important to a hockey legacy, and opportunity has not been made available to this generation. So I expect, obviously, great performances. You would anyway, but there's a burning desire, I think, for that generation of players to put themselves on the map. And I think Canada has a great chance to win. We've been through it time and again. Everybody on this panel, the four of us, were together yesterday, and we convened and agreed that we felt that Team Canada was winning the gold medal. That doesn't mean they will, but they're a strong contender. And if the goaltending hangs in, it'll be very good for Team Canada. And we can't lose sight of Team Germany. Leon Draisaitl is the captain. Josh Szymanski, young Edmonton Oiler, is also on that team. I think we're going to see some surprises. We saw one already, and we have to remember that sometimes in these events, a team will emerge. And I'm not suggesting it's Slovakia, although the early edge after the victory over Finland. But I think that we always look for an outlier, a team with a goaltender who gives them a fighting chance in every game, or a team that has just gotten lightning in a bottle. And we'll find out over the next few days. And it's off to a rocking start. And, of course, Canada playing later on today. I mentioned earlier during the first segment about the fact that we're all, at least a little bit, thinking about Tumbler Ridge and the community there and the great loss and the real tragedy. Sometimes these terrible events take on a life of their own, and I think this is one of them because it's so shocking. It's a small town. I think lots of us grew up in small towns, and we can only imagine the devastation there. So once again, our thoughts are with Tumbler Ridge. I'm sure that was covered yesterday on Jason's show, but Jim Robson passed away. Longtime Vancouver Canucks broadcaster. If you are like me, growing up in Western Canada in 1970, when the Vancouver Canucks arrived via expansion in the National Hockey League, it was the first time you could even think about getting in your car and driving or flying, a fairly short distance to see an NHL game. And Jim Robson was one of the strongest connections that any fan had to the Canucks. They had veterans like Orland Kurtenbach and young players like Dale Talon. But the common theme through all of those years was Jim Robson. You combine that with the fact that he was an outstanding broadcaster who was meticulous in his preparation, thorough, and had great energy. And he became the face of this team in a way that expansion teams badly need. He was class all the way. I don't know if you've been reading on X about Robson. There's so many people from so many walks of lives, from major media personalities to just folks who say that at some point along the way, they requested an interview in like junior high or college to find out about the broadcast industry or to do a report that they'd been assigned. And Jim Robson answered every call. He was a fantastic broadcaster and a fantastic individual. So I wanted to say a few things about him today because growing up in Western Canada, he was larger than life. And he remained that way because of the person he was for his entire life. We talked about the Calgary Flames at the deadline. I think they are a team to watch as a seller. Increasingly, the Toronto Maple Leafs may be, but that could turn on a dime. The East is so weird where if you got on a true hot streak, like win 9 in a row, as Tyler Yamchuk used to say, you'd be looking at some kind of opportunity to move up several spots. The problem Toronto has is they got to leap so many teams. So if they do make a move, it'll be interesting for the Oilers because they do have some players like Bobby McMahon who would be, I think, interesting additions to this team. Senators are a buyer at the deadline. I keep hoping that Artem Zub will someday come available for the Edmonton Oilers. It looks unlikely for the next several years, but he would be a really good get if that opportunity were to arise for the Edmonton Oilers. After the NFL Super Bowl, there's kind of a lull period. Usually the Monday after the regular season is when all the coaches get fired, and then they start, moving around various individuals. And that's kind of what we're seeing between the end of the regular season and then through the playoffs into the Super Bowl. And now we're getting to a point where we're talking about the draft and who's going to, go where, and maybe there's an opportunity to trade up and down. And at some point in time, free agents will come into view, but it's a little ways away. For instance, the Jets have hired Bill Musgrave as quarterbacks coach. Jets have a lot of work to do in that area, so it makes sense. Brian Callahan going to the Giants in the same position. And the Cardinals are apparently, we talked about it yesterday, looking to trade Kyler Murray. Don't know where that will go and how it'll look, but it is something that we'll be talking about in the days to come. For a team like the Seattle Seahawks, Josh, how much of the offseason is going to be spent? I know as a Eagles fan, you end up losing your OC or your DC or both, and you end up losing a lot of those free agents who are now more famous and can ask for more dollars.
A lot of key pieces out, especially lots of guys on their defense, but the one that I think everyone has circled as someone that's going to get seriously paid this year on the offensive side of the ball is Rashid Shaheed. Lightning quick, was arguably the wide receiver 1 on the Saints. Again, that's not saying much, but I think a team like the Buffalo Bills would be willing to throw cash at him. Someone fast that could catch Josh Allen's arm, sort of like a mini Tyreek Hill sort of deal here. So I'm interested to see where he goes. I don't have their full list of free agents in front of me, unfortunately. I just switched spots with Big Mike.
Yes, I said, welcome back, Big Mike. How was your first sojourn into the world of media avails?
It was good.
Yeah.
It was very exciting. Everyone was super nice.
Did they feed you?
No,
Oh,
they didn't. Yeah.
Wow. Check out some of those Elks luncheons. You'll love them.
Yeah. So
good. Did you get any audio?
No, Declan has all of it. I did lots of videos and photos. So sending out a couple tweets, going to put together a cool little video later too. So
hey, I watched the video where you interviewed me. I didn't get the big 1260 banner behind me.
The 1440?
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The 1440 one.
Well, you got interviewed in the hallway, and that's what happened.
Well, but Gregor had this big 1440 thing. Carius did, and I'm like,
and you got
Henry's
in the hall,
behind me mopping the floor. I mean, holy cow!
Well, maybe if you didn't try to rush out of here all the time, you could have been interviewed.
I took my time. I actually was waiting.
I know you actually went and actively looked for Mackenzie.
I did. I had to do it, and you were mocking me during my break. Anyway, so you enjoyed your time?
Yeah, it was super cool. Everyone was super friendly and nice. So
there you go.
Yeah.
That'll end at some point, but it's good they welcomed you that way.
Yeah.
In the NBA, we talked about Isaiah Stewart. 7 games. Is that about right?
Yeah, honestly, I think everyone thought it would be more. Connor brought it up. They were Lou Williams, famed 6th Man of the Year award winner in the NBA. He thought it'd be 25. Isaiah Stewart, repeat offender, thought maybe he'd get some more, but he didn't. He got off easy. He only got 7, and then Jalen Duren as well. He got 2 games, and both players for the Hornets, Moussa Diabate and Miles Bridges, they both got assessed 4. Seems about right for everyone except Stewart. I genuinely I thought he would get more. He, again, second most ejections on the Pistons all time. Any idea how hard it is to do?
Especially considering that, like, in the 80s, they were all suspended.
Oh, yeah. But I guess they were suspended for longer, probably, or not suspended at all. Shout out to the Jordan rules. Unreal.
There you go. Jumping Jack Flash ALT on Jim Robson, a total class act, and so knowledgeable, so easy on the ears. He will be missed. I agree. It is a real loss being felt by a lot of people who I never met Jim Robson, but I felt like he was part of my life. He sort of had a way of doing that, and I think that was pretty universal. Chinese Elvis LT, you keep saying Team Canada plays today. They play tomorrow. It's in my brain that they were playing because the games are underway today. So apologies if I sent you sideways. But yeah, they play tomorrow. I'm a 50-year-old Oilers fan, but Jim Robson is my favorite play-by-play guy of my youth. Well, I think people forget that the NHL didn't come to Edmonton until 1979, and then Calgary got the NHL in 1980. Before that, it was just the Vancouver Canucks, and you had the WHA. I was a big WHA Oilers fan, but I could also follow both leagues, and I did. And the Canucks were they weren't a great team, but they were interesting. I mentioned Orland Kurtenbach and Dale Talon, but they had Don Lever. They had some real tough guys, Harold Sneps, and they always seemed to have goalies that were beloved. Gary Smith and Richard Berger, Kirk McLean later on when they made it to the final in '94. So yeah, I think the fan base has sort of sent the whole discussion of that Vancouver Canucks in a different direction than maybe it should have been. But yeah, it's a sad day. It is. A few more reminders. I had it wrong. Canada plays tomorrow. And I think they're going to slide right through. Don't you think they're going to slide right through the round robin? It doesn't seem like there's anything in their way, particularly.
Team Canada
Yeah.
for men's, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. I think we had Speck on this morning on the Carrier show, obviously everyday regular. But he said he wouldn't be surprised if the Team Canada didn't face real adversity until winner go home games. They wouldn't face real challenge.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like, fair. They got a favorable pool draw, right? So
is there anybody as good as Germany? Like the Americans got Germany. I don't know.
I don't think so. I'll take a look at their pool real quick.
It didn't seem. I looked at the list and it didn't seem to me like there's the Finland and Sweden are in the B pool, I believe, and obviously there's no Russia. So if you're not playing the Americans, I think it's Denmark and
hold on, I'm just looking at their matchups here. Again, I'm so sorry to everybody. I do not have this in front of me.
I'll read this. LT, the call that stayed with me from Mr. Robson was his call on the first shift of Pavel Bure. He scored. That's when the nickname Russian Rocket was born. My prayers are with Robson, and the new star is born. Big Bad Joe. I love it because I felt that way about Jim Robson, and I know that when I talk to people in the media about him, they have the same reaction. My friend Dave Jameson obviously would have spent way more time than most of us with Mr. Robson, but he had nothing but good to say. Just absolute lavished Robson with praise, and it's nice to know that what we thought about Jim Robson was true personally. But I've just been so delighted to see so many fans of other teams, like Oilers fans, speak out in a positive way about Robson and the impact that he had over many, many years. I mean, he clearly
best player or best team country that Canada would face is it's probably Czechia, but it might be Switzerland, but probably Czechia.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say Czechia, but Switzerland could surprise.
Swiss could, and then France is there. So that's a write-off.
Used to be able to say whatever team Ralph Krueger is coaching is going to be the problem.
Fair enough.
And then Craig Ramsey a little bit. But Marky Mark says, LT, loved your Howard article in The Athletic today. Current Oilers bottom six aren't doing anything besides cashing their paychecks, and there are players lighting it up in Bakersfield. The answer is in plain sight. Well, I agree with you, Marky Mark. I think that we're reaching a point. We talk about Mangiapane, okay, but there's also Matthias Janmark, who's not playing exceptionally well. Trent Frederick is going to have a long leash because of the long contract, but still, there's no harm in putting a veteran in the press box if like Josh Szymanski is out playing some of these veterans. Like if you look in the 5 games since Szymanski got here, not a big sample size, I admit that, but if you look at the left wingers in the 5 games where Szymanski has dressed, it's Podkolzin is averaging 14-17 at 5-on-5, 83% goal share, 1.68 points per 60. That's terrific. Nuge has 5 games, 13-28 time on ice, 0.89 points per 60, and 38% goals. That's not enough, but it's a small sample. Szymanski 5 games, only 9-17 per game at 5-on-5, 2.58 points per 60, and 57% goal share, 60% expected. And then Mangiapane only playing 754. That's an indictment from the coach that a rookie out of the box is playing more. No points for Mangiapane, 0-2 goals, 31% expected. Now he's on a line that isn't doing well, but I mean, if you're Mangiapane, this has been a cruel and difficult season, very similar to Jeff Skinner. And what he had going on last season. He just cannot find a spot in the lineup where the coach is willing to play him and he can flourish. And you can say, well, that's the coach, and many people are, and I get that. But if you're going to force feed a roster, a player, I don't think it should be a veteran. They've got young players. They can't turn over half the roster every summer. They do it every year, and then it takes them a few weeks and months to get back to what would be a team that has chemistry and knows each other. So the bottom line here, as far as I'm concerned, is that the longer they go with Mangiapane in the lineup and Janmark in the lineup, they're burning daylight on guys like Quinn Hudson, Roby Yerventi. Certainly I would include Szymanski in that, and Ike Howard. You can't play them all. I understand that. But I don't think any good reason to play Mangiapane in front of Szymanski. And I would probably put Janmark with the quality of play he's had, even with the penalty killing, which hasn't been stout of late. All right, we'll take a break. Your comments about what we've talked about, Olympics, Edmonton Oilers, CFL, Elks, and more straight ahead. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business, and for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
The Edmonton Firefighters Rooftop Campout for Muscular Dystrophy is February 18th to 20th. Edmonton firefighters are again braving the elements by camping on the roof of Fire Hall number 2. This year, they've added a little twist and will start the rooftop campout with no camping equipment. The more money they raise for muscular dystrophy, the more equipment they get to survive an Edmonton winter, with a final goal of getting off the roof and helping this incredible cause. Donate now at any Edmonton Fire Hall or online at edmontonrooftopcampout.ca.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. Use code 1440 for 15% off at notaloneco.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Invest for today and tomorrow. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your income tax, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams, whether it's retirement or your first home. The deadline to qualify for 2025 tax deductions is March 2nd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Bye.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Sports 1440 at 1242. Thanks for tuning in. Beautiful day. Winter's over. We're just enjoying the... Have you washed your car recently? Why would you? I always have a difficult time at this time of year because I am driving around in a vehicle that at some point in time, if I don't wash it, will, grow a lawn on the hood, if you know what I mean. I mean, there's a lot of dirt there. But like the moment I wash the car, it's going to be snowing or slushy or some blasted thing. And, I'm not cheap, but I am frugal. And there is a difference. I don't know if there should be a time where Canada just washes its car. I know that would be inconvenient, but I think the government should give free car wash certificates in the springtime. Sort of you're living in an isolated area, so you get a certain number of perks. I know it's not going to happen, but I would like it to. We should start the third goalie. I'm assuming you're talking about Pickard or Unger. I think they're going to run with the two for the next little while. Lokesh says, Lowetide, do you think the Oilers should go all in or wait until summer when they can trade Nurse, because that is a must to make this roster deep and almost perfect? Lokesh, they cannot trade Nurse until the summer of 27, I believe. That's when the no movement clause eases a little. And I think it's just a few teams that Nurse can agree to be traded to. So if you're waiting for a Nurse trade, unless he, asks out or, the Oilers ask him and he agrees, he will be here next year. My own feeling is that I think this is the year where you kind of stand and deliver and insert the youth. Now, they've done that with Matthew Savoy, but it's in a depth role, and Savoy is not a big player. So my suspicion is that at some point in time they would move him up to a skill line. I think that Ike Howard is a more promising offensive player on this Oilers team. And let me insert here. I'm not saying Savoy isn't talented or even more talented, but the Oilers need a shooter. And I think that Howard is that. Now, he doesn't have a great shot, but he's got a very good release. And he's going to have to get, in the tough areas to make that happen. But they need that. And they don't have to pay anything to get him. He's already, in Bakersfield and could be recalled after the Olympic break. Imagine how bad the Oilers would be if they removed Janmark for the guys that get absolutely lit up defensively, even a little bit. Janmark isn't 100%. I like him as a player. I really do. I think that he is an important part of the team, but I would prefer that they get him healthy by the playoffs. The only criticism of the coach is the bottom six plays scared. Certain players, one mistake in your bench, Team Dean. I think you can criticize more than that. I mean, he's been to the 2 Stanley Cup finals, so I think there's a lot to like about Chris Knobloch, and I don't think he's going anywhere, by what people say. But I do think that coaches get stubborn. Even the ones that you like, even the ones that are provably excellent coaches, they do get stubborn on players or on systems or on, specific situations. And I think the Oilers are stubborn on a few things. They are overusing the stretch pass. They have stopped using the middle of the ice. For some reason, I don't know why, the coaching staff has decided that major gapping between the defense and the forwards is the way to go. But the workaround for the opposition is to push 2 forwards in on an aggressive forecheck that suffocates the defenseman and makes them unable to send a controlled pass. What happens is an icing call or a turnover, and the turnovers are death for the Oilers. And they have to do something about that. There are lots of different ways to do it, but having the forwards come down lower and then skate the puck out to center is the way to go. The Oilers have been trying for 3-on-2s all year, and all they do is tip the puck in and chase after it, don't get it, and turn the puck around the other way and start playing defense. I wash my car every day, says Bob. I would not be able to do that. Lowetide, maybe we take a page from the book of the Tampa Bay Lightning and get a little nasty with some of those non-productive veterans with no movement clauses. Well, we've talked about that. I've used the Vegas Golden Knights as the example, but your point is well taken. The Oilers are certainly under Ken Holland, and I believe under Peter Chiarelli, and certainly before then, are pretty fair with players, I think, and with the idea that, if you're fair with them, it'll come back in a good way. You'll be able to sign more free agents. I just think they need to be less reliant on no movement clauses when they when they acquire and sign players. Hey guys, Switzerland always give Canada a hard time. Don't discount them. Plus, Czechia has a potential first line and great goaltending. I hope Canada doesn't take anyone lightly. James from the Hood. That's it's the name of the game. It's the theme of the Olympics. Somebody, it's already happened a little bit, but somebody, some underdog will knock off a major nation, and then we'll have a story. What are your thoughts on providing players compensation if they waive an NMC from Andrew? I don't think that's allowed under the CBA. Maybe I'm wrong. But they seem pretty cut and dried on that stuff. Listening at double speed on YouTube to catch up. You guys sound like you're on the, what is that word? Y-Y-O. Is that a term that young people use?
Yayo? I don't know. I think we might have to bring in our with the times person, Big Mike. Even though I'm younger than her, she's more with the times than I am.
Well, I think that's fair.
I've never heard the term yayo before.
All right.
So
he might mean yo-yo and he put a E in instead of an O.
that would make sense. Have you heard of people that like listen to podcasts and audiobooks on like 1.5 and 2 times speed?
That's insane.
That's crazy to me.
I wouldn't be able to keep up to it. Like
Exactly.
I don't see. Here's the thing, and this is awful to say, but one of the appeals of radio is that it's you can listen to it while you do other things.
Yayo is slang
for
an illicit drug.
Oh, well, we are not on any illicit drugs unless we don't even have any.
Thank you to Sham and Hammer for texting that in. We were lost.
What, did we really sound like we were on drugs? I blame you.
Well, he's listening to us on double speed. That's why it sounds like we're on Yayo.
Well,
we're not. You and I think, are very slow talking individuals.
But fast thinking.
Fast thinking. My mouth does not catch up to my brain, and that is why I have trouble with the ladies. Fun fact.
Well, I think that's one of the problems. I mean, I don't know if you want to get into it here, but
no,
okay.
We don't need to get into it
All
here.
right.
I was just making a self-deprecating joke.
All right. Well, I added on to it, I think, which, in a clever and fun way and not in any way harmful to you. Can I tell you a little story about, like, I grew up in Saskatchewan, and I didn't ever do drugs really, but now there's drugs that are legal. Can we talk about legal drugs?
I think we can talk about marijuana. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't have, I think I've had that once, and I had some mushrooms, which is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay to say that.
And then I had oil.
Oh, interesting.
Have you had that?
I've
So the first time I had oil, you got to understand, I am 64 years old and I'd never had it before.
You're allowed to do whatever you want.
Okay. I don't want to don't do anything illegal. Talking about it might be, I don't know. But anyway, I had oil. And then at 3 a.m, I woke up and I felt like I was so thirsty. I was so dry. Is that what happens? And I was like,
no, yeah,
I couldn't get spit. I was like, man, like this. I felt like I was out of control, man. It was a nice experience when it happened, but the whole not making saliva was new to me. And I thought, this is it. I'm stroking out, man.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Shouldn't they warn people about that?
They probably do somewhere on the bottle. Yeah, no, happens to us all. Happens to me.
I'm having trouble making spit now just thinking about what happened to me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, that'll do it to you. That is definitely an effect of it.
Well, I'm sticking with peppermints because
good call.
I can do.
Hey, you know what? That's great. That's great.
LT dry mouth, definite side effect. Husks. Well, I know not now, Husks.
Sometimes it's not. I think when you have things that are more edible, I don't find that I get dry mouth, but if you smoke it or have an oil, I think you can definitely get a more dry mouth from it.
Okay. Well, I never did any of this stuff. We grew up in a town in an era where you had the liquor vendor, and then you had a bunch of stuff that wasn't really anything.
Yeah, no, fair. You also grew up religious, didn't you? So that's an
Yes, I did.
That's an additional thing to it as well.
Oh, yes.
I did not, so I used it younger than you did, obviously.
By about 50 years, young man.
Right around there.
Hollywood J, I'm dying. You guys need to listen to some hip hop. A lot of rappers talk about smoking that yayo.
Also, yayo, it is a Latin hip hop group as well, just so you know.
I'm out on the new words and the new definitions of old words. I'll tell you, I still resent not being able to use a cribbage term because you Yahoo young people came up with a new name for it.
It's not a new term, Mr. Maris. Like they clocked me. I remember this from Scarface. Tony Montana used it all the time to describe this drug. Yayo.
I'm on the cribbage term now.
Okay.
You robbed me of that term. I can't use it now.
What was the term again?
I'm not using it.
Okay.
It rhymes with leggings. And I can't use it, even though I do it all the time in cribbage, and I'm really good at it. And the reason I can't do it is you can't say you're good at that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no,
All right.
never mind. She got
it's just
filled me in.
You're just making old people look stupid.
I'm sorry.
And we can do it on the
own.
You know, we don't need your help.
Sorry we did that to you.
I'm going to have some yayo and get back to you as soon as I can. All right. On the way, we're going to be saved on this show by Kevin McCurdy. We may or may not see Declan today. Is he writing something for Elks Nation?
I mean, he might be taking the whole day off. I'm not totally sure, but
he's probably,
I don't think so.
Probably, giggling about yayo.
He might be sitting in his car listening to this right now, so he can come in for the second hour.
I'm not saying it, Felix. All right. Lowdown with Lowetide. Who's doing the update?
I'm doing the update.
All right. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. Time for an update with Josh Fenwick.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors, Inc. Floors done right for homes and businesses. Visit the new showroom at 11577 149th Street. Now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 to 2, or visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring your next flooring project to life. Olympic action underway continues as curling is now happening. Canada and Germany 4-4 tied in the 7th. Canada failed to medal in men's and women's double luge, as well as 1,000-meter men's speed skating. Men's free dance figure skating underway. One Canadian duo holds the podium with 2 more pairs due to go. Coming up, men's ice hockey continues with Sweden playing Italy at 1:10. William Nylander is a go for Sweden in their Olympic opener. Nylander will skate on the top line with Adrian Kempe and Joel Eriksson Ek. On the hardwood, 14 games to be played tonight. Raptors will host the Pistons tip-off at 5:30. And the nightcap will see the Spurs at Golden State taking on the Warriors. Off the court, Pistons and Hornets players have been assessed suspensions for the brawl on Monday night. Isaiah Stewart will face 7 games, and Jalen Duren will face 2 for the Pistons. 4 games each for Hornets players Moussa Diabate and Miles Bridges. In the MLB, pitchers and catchers have reported today. Coming up on the Lowdown with Lowetide, we'll be joined by Kevin McCurdy and have today's edition of Declanations, Dunking with Declan, and Jamming with Josh. I'm Josh Fenwick. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Hello. You're never going to believe this. Booster Juice called your name today. You can get a free smoothie or acai bowl.
No way. Heading there now.
Oh my gosh, you and my brother have the same name. Okay, I'm calling him next. I'm hanging up.
Booster Juice Names of the Day is back. 2 names are selected each day, and if your name matches, you can get a free smoothie or an acai bowl. Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. Must be an app member to qualify. Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. Use code 1440 for 15% off at notalonecode.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned, community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. We have Josh and Mackenzie in the room. Declan was at the Elks Media Avail. Look for some written word at elksnation.ca. And either later today or tomorrow, we'll get his live take on what happened down there. Of course, free agency, a big deal in the CFL, and it is underway. Lots of rumors earlier and lots of things, but officially getting underway. All right. We are now joined by our friend Kevin McCurdy. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Alan. How are you doing this week?
I'm very well. I have lots of Oilers talk, but I want to begin by asking you about the Olympics, how you're enjoying it. Did you take in the hockey game earlier? What's your takeaway, and why can't I get anything done during the Olympics?
I actually haven't watched a ton of the Olympics. I watched bits and pieces of the opening ceremonies, and I watched bits and pieces of the 5-0 shellacking that the Canadian women took from the Americans. And other than that, some curling, a little bit of figure skating, but it's been the Olympics. It's been, always an interesting time, and continue to observe bits and pieces of it, I guess. But I don't know, this year hasn't held my interest and is the same as previous times.
You're skating again, and you're going to be involved in a big game here next month, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's been 15 years since I played hockey in any sort of, I would hate to say competitive capacity, but, real world capacity, and decided to take up the sport again for my own health and for, in memory of my father. And so next month I'm competing or playing in the Heavy Hockey Showdown, which is a fundraiser in support of SACE, which is the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. It's a very worthy charity that Dad held in high regard, and the rest of my heavy hockey compatriots, we try and do what we can to support a cause that has um, lots of supporters through the hockey world.
Yeah, it's a great cause, and it's a great event too. And good on you for getting out there. And what position do you plan on playing?
Well, I was a defenseman when I played minor hockey, and that's probably what I'm going to return to. It's what I know the best. It's how I view the game when I'm watching the sport. So we'll see if that is possible at my ripe old age.
So let's move on then to we'll talk about the Olympics and Team Canada and I was talking earlier about McDavid, Draisaitl, anybody drafted in that era when the NHL decided to take a hiatus from the Olympics. It is a big legacy thing for hockey players specifically, and they were shut out of it not because they weren't capable, but because the NHL didn't go. For you, on the as an observer of the Edmonton Oilers, how important is it for these generation of Oilers who are outstanding players, best in the world, to get this opportunity?
It's been long overdue. Like, you can't have best on best hockey if you don't include the best, and there's very little doubt that, in the case of our Oilers, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and arguably a couple of others that got snubbed from the roster, aren't the best in the world. It's very clear that Connor McDavid, is pretty clearly the best player on the planet right now. That's not to snub Nathan McKinnon. I just think Connor is really truly on that generational talent level, and I think that word gets overused a lot. So I'm really excited to see what he can do in Olympic hockey. I think they're going to surprise us. I think that team has all the tools it needs for success, even if we left a few at home. And I'm really hopeful that those boys can build their legacy outside of the Oilers.
Well, it's all fair. So I want to talk about the Oilers, and I want specifically to talk about what is happening on the roster and what is about to happen. For me, I'm not going to tell you how many I found, but I asked myself a question: how many veteran Oilers forwards have more torque than the young Condors? And I include Ike Howard, Quinn Hudson, Josh Szymanski, Roby Yervinte among the Condors, and then you can, in your own mind, or list them off publicly. It just seems to me that this Edmonton Oilers organization has gone to the free agent well too many times, and now what they're left with is a bunch of no movement clauses and no trade clauses with players who are being outplayed and should play less than some of the kids in Bakersfield, and certainly a guy like Szymanski. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Can we talk about this comment that I heard was allegedly said on your show about imagine how bad the Oilers would be without Janmark? Is that a thing that happened?
That's somebody who said that, yeah.
Can you give me the context of that? Because I'm deathly curious.
Well, it was what I had said is that Mangiapane shouldn't play in front of these young guys, and I felt that Janmark shouldn't play either. I gave a little bit of a mention of Trent Frederick, saying that I thought the Edmonton Oilers would play him because it's a long contract and it's a long-term thing, so they probably would give him a little time. But I said there's like at least a couple, maybe 3 or 4 forwards on the Oilers who should not be playing in front of Josh Szymanski. And then somebody texted in saying that, can you imagine how poorly they'd play without Janmark? And I think he might be hurt, honestly. I think he might not be 100%, but he's not played well enough to defend, I don't think.
No, I would tend to agree with that. I mean, shout out to Blue Bullet Brad, Brad McPherson for posting this on Twitter. So I'm sniping this off the side of my screen here. But Matthias Janmark at 5v5 this season, 8 goals for, 18 goals against. Like 30% goals for percentage. That's not a defensible number in 2026. The bottom six is bleeding goals extremely badly. Denmark included, and he's been, historically a fairly reliable defensive, stalwart. I would tend to agree with you that there's a good possibility that he's injured, but one has to wonder what has to change here to change this equation, because the bottom six, whether it's deployment or the players themselves, is just not getting it done right now.
Yeah, and it's my experience, and I didn't come up with the idea that when a player is off year over year substantially, materially, it's often due to injury. Sometimes it's different deployment, and I can hear arguments for Janmark playing on such a poor offensive line that it's not happening. But even with that, Lazar and Frederick found a little bit of traction just right at the end of the season that we've seen, just before the Olympic break. Janmark really has just looked a little bit slow to the play this year for me, and I know they're going to play him. I understand that, but I think that but when you're that far away from 50% goal share, then playing time should be at least an issue for the coach, right? You just can't reward that kind of performance.
No, it becomes almost like a safety blanket, if you will. And how does it look once Rico re-enters the lineup, right? Like the last thing the bottom six needs is to get older and slower. And there's a lot of things that Adam Henrique does right in his game, but age has caught up with him boots wise, and that is going to be a problem for the remainder of this season unless they can figure out some creative ways to rebalance their roster. I don't think there's any way of avoiding that. They've backed themselves into a corner with clauses, and I think it's sort of, at this point, it's about limiting the damage rather than fixing it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that if you can afford to, you might have 3 no movement clauses in the press box and playing the Condors kids, because they're just outperforming. Kenneth, the individual who talked about Janmark, has come back and said the context is replacing Janmark, who doesn't get scored on, with a player who might score a little tiny bit but get scored on way more. That's the context. So, but I don't agree with that either. I look at Josh Szymanski, and he has played in 5 games, and in those 5 games on left wing, he's outplayed Mangiapane. I think that he's a third line left winger until he's a center on this team. I think that Stan Bowman, I give him credit for coming up with some really nice options here, including Szymanski, also Quinn Hudson. But now we're at a point where there's a stubbornness in the organization where they're playing veterans over these kids. And this is the period of time when you should play the kids, right? Because come playoff time, they have to be less rookies than they are now. And we've had 57 or 8 games of the third and fourth line bleeding out. I think it's okay to play some younger players to see what they can do.
100%. And I think that Szymanski has a real shot, assuming that his numbers hold, being our third line center, absent then making a move to bring in another. But then you have to look at where they spend the limited cap space that they have. So even if they can move on from somebody, unless that person is Darnell Nurse, they have pretty limited options this year. So where do you spend those bucks in 2025-26? Well, I mean, I would have to think that that second pairing right defenseman is still the priority all these years later. And you fix the bottom six if you can get a freebie or you can get some good retention on something. But there is a ton of talent, whether it's Miarla or Yarventi or Szymanski. Like, we have options in the AHL that are ready to go for the big leagues, and I think they need to use them.
Kevin McCurdy, our guest. I think they've slipped into this thing under the Ken Holland era, and when Brad Holland was here, I think they did well. They got Matthias Ekholm. That was a really nice get at the deadline, but they've sort of fallen into this trap where you get a guy who can help you this year, then you re-sign him for a long period, and maybe he's not that player that you thought you were getting, but you've already kind of committed. I mean, I would prefer that the Oilers make a list of players who would be worth acquiring and then wait for the opportunity. Like Artem Zub, I mentioned him all the time. I mentioned him in an article that I've written recently. I know he's not available. I know that he's not going to be traded by Ottawa. They've got their own situation. But if he were available ever, that's a guy that I think you should have the assets to make that trade the day he comes available. Yes, Wallstedt is apparently available. That would be a nice option. The problem the Oilers have is for the foreseeable future, for this deadline, for the summer, for next deadline, they just don't have the horses to be competitive, and they don't have any cap space because of the no movement clauses.
Yeah, and they've backed themselves into a corner with contracts that are just not providing the value. Like I know I pointed out Nurse earlier, and that is still the obvious one of those. But even, Adam Henrique, you're basically paying $3 million a year for a fourth line center. Like, we have to be smarter about this. I know the cap's going up. I know we can get a little more carried away with the right talent, but the challenge here is, like, be very careful who you give no movement clauses to in the future. Like, I understand, in this kid, in Roslovic's case, they gave him a 1-year deal that was dirt cheap, and he gets a 4-team list out of the gate. Fine, but at least you can send him something if it didn't work out. Fortunately, it has worked out so far. We've talked about Josh Szymanski a little bit a minute ago, and in 46 minutes of 5v5 this year, he is at 65% Corsi. He is at 59%, almost 60% expected goals for, and 57% actual goal share. Like, there is a player there at the NHL level. They just need to continue to give him the minutes to develop that. And I think that can be said for, like I said last week, I think Robbie Yorventi is stunting on the AHL, or at least he was the last that I checked. It's time to get some of these kids up here. If our vets aren't going to produce, time to stir the pot and see if we can give this team a different look, get the speed up, play with more pace. Because that's something that, in the past, the Oilers have been very successful with, and they've struggled with outside of the top six, especially this year.
Good stuff. Thanks for this. Appreciate it. Have a good week.
No worries. Have a good week, everyone.
There you go, Kevin McCurdy. Back on skates. Look out. I forgot to ask if he's right-handed. If anybody in the Western provinces that says they're on skates and they've played defense, ask them that they're right-handed, and then if they are, just send that information to your local NHL team. Are you a right-handed defenseman, Josh?
I am not.
Okay. What position did you play?
I definitely played forward for a while.
Right.
Which forward position, I couldn't tell you again.
No, and your coach didn't know
this
either.
Is digging deep into the memory banks. But yeah, I don't think I took face-off, so I probably played, let's see, I'm a left-handed shooter, so I probably played left wing, but
this is actually painful,
Yeah, no, listen, I know I shoot left, and I know I got a hat trick in a game, so I definitely wasn't playing defense.
Well, let's see if we can get it in more. Mackenzie, you never really played hockey, is that correct?
Yeah. Initiation. I would sit on the puck so other people couldn't get it.
Classic. I used to slash my own teammates.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys aren't parents yet, but I was relieved when my kids got into swimming and music lessons.
Oh, I think my parents were very relieved when I said I don't want to play hockey anymore.
I have friends who are
apparently it's expensive.
I have friends who have children who are goalies, and that's the whole "do I disown this child or not" thing, right? Because it's spendy,
Yeah, unless you're the Duke of Delburn, in which case you just pay for all that stuff yourself.
James from the Hood, LOL, Jesper Wallstedt could have been an Oiler had Alden not traded down to pick Xavier Bourgault. Oilers management is crap. Stop giving no movement clauses. I agree on that. The one thing I'll say about the draft is that Wallstedt looks good now, but I'm also a little bit curious about why Minnesota is interested in trading him. And also, you make your first round pick, and often it's not a goalie. And sometimes when you pick a great goaltender, it's in the 7th round. They are a little bit voodoo, even at the draft table. All those fancy stats don't mean diddly. How many goals does Szymanski have? From Randy. Well, Randy, he's played 5 games, got a couple of assists. Look, Josh Szymanski has been playing better in the 5 games he's played than Andrew Mangiapane. And if you want proof, I'll give you proof from the coach. In those 5 games at 5-on-5, Szymanski would average 917. Mangiapane averaged 754. The coach of the Edmonton Oilers decided that a kid from Germany who's a flat-out rookie, has less than a year's AHL experience, and played like 5 games with this team, was a better bet than Andrew Mangiapane. That's where we are. The third and fourth, this cannot continue. The Oilers cannot afford. Stan Bowman owes it to the team and to the fans to not let the third and fourth lines steward a season with the 2 best hockey players in the National Hockey League. All right, it's 1:19. We'll take a break. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Saturday, it's a Valentine's Day celebration of the footwear with its own loyal fandom. Don't miss the Edmonton Oil Kings Rogers Place Crop Party.
Slide into your most romantic.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's 1:23. This is the Lowdown, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out at wolfgmcbuick.com. This may be news that's been out there. I just got it, though. Andrew Rankin, longtime drummer of the Pogues, had passed away at 72. That particular band has taken a few losses here in the last little while. And you were mentioning Mackenzie's Canadian actor, well-known Canadian actor, has passed away as well.
Yeah, James Van Der Beek.
No, that'll be
Cancer.
Dawson's Creek, right?
Yep.
My daughter loves that show, so that's going to be a loss for folks. We mentioned at the top of the show, and one imagines that we should be getting better at not being devastated by things like this, but the events in the last 24 hours or so at Tumbler Ridge just really impacted certainly everybody here, and I'm sure everybody listening. So once again, our thoughts are with those folks and what must be just an overwhelming time, and we are with you. Coming up at 1:40 today, it's Declinations, and Declan himself has now entered the chat after the Elks Media Avail. How did it go, sir?
Oh, it was great. It was a great. Ed and Mark addressed the media scrum style. We got to talk to Malik Carney as well, and then I had some one-on-ones with Brendan Bordner, Jordan Murray, and Austin Mack. That's all going to be coming to elksnation.ca. It was an excellent little media event there. Not much more I can add right now because I do want to tease the article.
Sure.
I want to direct everyone there.
At Elks Nation, right?
Yeah, I don't know. We might play the audio, maybe on Gregor's show. Like I said, the transcriptions will be at Elks Nation, but it was really nice and really, really looking forward to this upcoming season.
Is there a point at which you say, Carney, why did you leave Saskatchewan? Did you?
No, I thought about dropping in like, hey, I'm a Rider fan, but I didn't want to do it in that setting.
I understand. You're professional.
If I had him one-on-one, I might have put the mic down and be like, hey man, I'm a big Rider fan, just so you know, like, hey, shout out Rider Nation. But again, he was 10 toes down on being an Elk. I think Elks fans are going to be really excited about him here. So it was awesome to see.
We did talk to your cohort, your colleague, Mackenzie, and she said that she really enjoyed it. And she was happy that you had showed her the ropes at a new area for her in terms of the industry. And she did some social media. So I will ask you, was she professional and did a fine job representing the station?
Yeah, it was excellent. Mackenzie did a great job there. Initiative, great to have a social media presence down there.
Yes.
No, I think it'll all look good when we are they up in the Sports 1440 socials? They are, yeah, good. So you can go check them out there. Awesome job, awesome event.
All right. So when we last talked to you, young Declan.
Yeah.
It's
been a while.
We were talking about Pistons suspensions, and that has come through.
They did.
Young Joshua over there expressed a little bit of surprise at some of the games totals. He felt there might be more.
He thought Isaiah Stewart was going to be more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Isaiah Stewart was going to be like in the 20s or something. Listen, Isaiah Stewart, he can play on my team any day. The NHL comparison would probably be maybe like a Matt Olivier or like a Tom Wilson type. People might want to compare him to Ryan Reeves just because of his pure aggression. But like, listen, he was tracking to make all defense this year. Like he's a guy who's got some skill to him. Coming into that, whatever season it was, that 2019-20 season, I think it was with Washington, or that 2021 season with Washington, like there were talks about him going top 3. So he's a guy with like a lot of talent, but this is just who he is. He's a repeat offender. He is a guy who doesn't really ever keep his cool and is kind of known for never keeping his cool. Like he chased LeBron James around basically the entire court one season. Like he is a guy who is a little, dare I say, unhinged. And then you mix that with kind of the way he left the bench, immediately squaring up with Miles Bridges, and the fact he's a repeat offender. I thought we were going to get into 20-25 game territory. I'm a little surprised we didn't. The other suspensions, I thought they were actually a little light, but I guess more or less made sense. That Isaiah Stewart one, like it just, I don't know what we're doing there.
So like in the NHL, there's 2 rules. There's a rule for 31 teams, and then Florida can do whatever the hell they want. Is the NBA like that with the suspensions, or are they pretty straight up?
No, they're pretty, I would say they're pretty straight up. They definitely like,
I don't know. Repeat offenders obviously get it worse. Draymond maybe seems to get a little bit of leniency despite his reputation. I think a big part of that is being on Golden State, if you want to do that Florida comparison. But across the board, I'd say they're pretty well done.
This is a Lowetide question, just out of curiosity. 3 Major League Baseball hitters of note were all announced today as being out for weeks because of a broken hamate bone. And so you were a boxer.
Yeah.
And my understanding of hamate is it's right. It's near the pinky finger. It's a small little bone, and it can break. Is that a I don't know what bones break for boxers, but is that an area of athletic endeavor that tends to be something that can break? Is this a coincidence that 3 guys end up breaking a hamate bone?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to speak to coincidence. As far as like boxers breaking their hand, yeah, it had like Floyd Mayweather, he broke his right hand pretty much every time he fought. It's pretty commonplace. I don't know enough about like the actual anatomy or the medical aspects of it to talk about coincidence. I don't want to just ramble on and say something I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'll unfortunately probably leave it at that. But
did you have any major injuries as a boxer? I mean, aside from what people did to you.
Yeah, I mean, like you're concussed like every day. Like you're walking around semi-concussed every day. I remember the first time I ever hit the heavy bag, my hands were vibrating for like 2 days afterwards because you're just not used to it. It's just I never had any like crazy, like I can't breathe out of my right nostril now. So that's one thing.
Hell?
Yeah, that's one thing.
Did you tell your mom that?
I've told people my doctor doesn't really do anything. Doctors don't do much except like they do a lot.
Could you not do surgery?
No, so I've asked about that. Like I want to go in for like a deviated septum. They're like, here's some nasal spray. So now I was actually supposed to have
but you're in broadcasting. That would help. That might help you. Not that you don't have
like anytime I exercise, like because you're obviously not taught. That's one thing about being a boxer, by the way. If you ever see a boxer with their mouth open, they've pretty much already lost. Like you're always supposed to breathe through your nose. Like that's like one of the number one things they train you on. So if you're ever mouth breathing, if you ever see a boxer mouth breathing, you know they're in trouble. But I was supposed to have an appointment with the ear, nose, and throat doctor like back in November. It still hasn't come to be. But as far as injuries, like every day you're sore. Your ribs hurt every day. Your hands hurt every day. Your head hurts every day. No like crazy injuries where I had, like anything real serious or long term, thank God. But yeah, it's just the nature of the beast.
You're such a bright person. I just cannot marry you and boxing.
And CTE will take you sooner or later.
I'm really scared of CTE. Like I'm really, really scared of CTE. I think about that all the time.
How many concussions do you think you have?
I don't know, man. Like you get hit in the head like every day for like over a half day. Like I don't know. It's also like that's another thing. It's a point you have to stop like going to the doctor. Like you have to stop.
They keep telling you to stop boxing, so you can't go there.
That's
anymore.
The thing. Like it is what you have to live with it. Really, like if you want to do it, you have to live with the fact your head's gonna hurt every day. So. I don't know, but I think about CT a lot.
Do MMA fighters end up being concussed as much as boxers or more?
No, boxing's more.
Okay.
Because boxing, like in MMA, there are so many different disciplines. You can focus on so many other things. Boxing, it's really a headhunting sport. Like, obviously you can work the body as well. And if you're a young boxer out there listening, learn to work the body instead of the head. But it's such a, sport where it's so concentrated on the head as opposed to mixed martial arts, which has a bunch of different disciplines. It's obviously like, it's still a very brutal blood sport, but boxing, it's more concentrated on the head. And then one other thing is like boxers sit down on their punches more. So that factors in as well.
In brighter news. Oh, sorry.
Don't go ahead.
Kevin McCurdy is in fact a right-hand D-man.
Oh, good. Okay. There you go. Well, I will
told
call
him to
Stan.
tell the Oilers. So.
Yeah. We got to let right-handed defensemen are unicorns. Now, did you were a boxer? I'm sorry to continue this.
No,
I
love this.
As
this
a parent, it just bothers me that you're so smart and you did this.
Wow.
It was in your blood, right? Like more than swimming, even you really wanted to box.
That's a great question. I don't know. Like after high school ended and all the competitive sport, like I was done playing football, I was done playing basketball. Bama did not come calling for me to play football. Duke did not come calling. Yeah, I'm not really over it. But I just needed to do something competitive, right? And I liked boxing a lot. I thought, listen, this is a great discipline. It's a great skill set to learn. Obviously fell in love with the sport. But I don't know, like, was it ever something I had, like, if I could have, kept swimming or kept playing football or kept playing basketball, I would have done that. I kind of went into boxing because I didn't have any other avenue to compete in at that point, and I just wanted to do something.
Is that the dumbest thing you've done?
Yeah, definitely.
Josh, what's the dumbest thing you've done?
Let's see. Do I want to answer that on air right now? No. So I'll tell you later, I guess. But I've done some stupid things.
Well, I'll tell you the dumbest thing I ever did, and maybe you'll feel more comfortable.
Sure, go ahead.
I was 9 years old at 97 Mile House, British Columbia. And my brother and I, 4 years older than me, we had a push lawnmower, right? And so we broke it. We found a way to make the push lawnmower like it was, gas propelled. We pulled the handlebar backwards so you could straddle the lawnmower and ride it down the hill, but the handlebars were here, so you could treat it like a bike, right?
Yep.
And I rode it down the hill. It popped up, and I chipped my tooth.
Classic.
And my mom yelled at me. She was not a yeller. Well, she was. What am I doing? She's passed away many years ago. She's not going to give me hell. She was a yeller, and we had to get dental work done. I got a drilled in there and did it. And that was the dumbest thing I ever did. Now, do you feel better about the dumbest thing you ever did?
No, not even close. What I did was way stupider than what you did.
Were you older than 9?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's a real problem.
Really, really bad. All right. What about you, Mackenzie? Do you want to join in on
really
this?
quick? Was giving us all this mic time the dumbest thing you ever did?
Well, I'm beginning to think that, but I'm hoping for a big payoff from Josh when he tells us what he did. What about you, Mackenzie?
This is probably like a different turn than what the guys have. But going to post-secondary before I was like mature enough to actually handle it.
Oh, that makes sense. So you were smart enough to skip grades and then you just were not able to handle it?
Oh, no.
No.
No, I was not mature enough to be in post-secondary, and I did not realize how much you should actually like go to class. And
so you partied?
I didn't party. I was just lazy.
Oh,
I don't know if I should be saying this on air.
Well, wait a minute. Laziness is an honorable thing. I've had laziness my whole life.
Hey, listen, I didn't show up to like half the first semester at NAIT. I'm still here, so.
Hey, I showed up at every Columbia School of Broadcasting. I did my courses.
And they kept asking you to leave.
I paid my money is what I did. But I was a keener, that went away. So are you going to tell us?
Sure. I'll tell you one of the dumbest things I've ever done.
This isn't the one you wanted to tell us, though.
No. I don't want to tell anybody the stupidest thing I've ever done. But one of the stupidest things I've ever done, which actually resulted in great things happening to me, but that is neither here nor there. On June 30th of 2025, when
well, that's recent history.
Yeah. So when I came in to produce our free agent frenzy,
right, July 1.
So my buddy calls me. I'm at home. I'm about to get nestled into bed, knowing that I'm going to work. He says, "You want to come over for a beer?" I said, "Sure." Well, lo and behold, 2 a.m. rolls around. We're driving down White Ave. I'm blowing chunks outside of his car door as we're driving down the road. So my friend lets me crash on her couch and wakes me up at 7:30 so she can go to yoga, and she takes me to my car. I went home, showered, used the bathroom, and shaved, and came back here to produce the show. One of the most violently hungover times I've ever been hungover. And I produced the entire show. And I was like, okay, this is great. Like, I didn't remember that Jason was coming in, and he did a hit on Oilers Nation 15 minutes after I got here. He showed up 10 minutes after I got here. And I was like, he's standing in the doorway, and I'm like, oh, I can smell the liquor on me.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
There's no way you can't. I remember that day, and I did notice, but I didn't say anything.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. But that booster juice we had was, I was in such a bad place. And then I think I had bronchitis at the time also.
Yeah, you were hacking
because
loogies.
After that is when I hacked loogies for an entire month. Anyways, that's one of the stupidest things I've ever done.
Okay, I feel better about the lawnmower. Okay, on the way, Declinations, Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Get ready to love your home, Canada. The Brick has the styles and the savings to make you fall head over heels. Save $1,100 on couches made for cuddling. Enjoy a romantic meal on a dining set up to 25% off. And yes, save 25% off in the bedroom, too. Plus, score up to $1,500 off the TV of your dreams. Love is in the air, and so are the savings. Only at The Brick. Some exclusions apply. Check out The Brick in South Common, West Edmonton Mall, Northside, and downtown.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Made for some rough roads, but it means trails are now packed and ready for action. Don't miss out on riding adventures this winter with a Ski-Doo from Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. Work or play with new 2026 Generation 5 models with class-leading design and power. And right now, take advantage of 5.99% financing OAC. Only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert. And always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
His name? Paul Del Vecchio, better known as Pauly D from TV's hit reality series Jersey Shore. Now he's bringing the party to the venue at River Cree Resort and Casino. Get ready for DJ Pauly D. Voted as one of the best DJs in the U.S., his passionate, high-energy sets have made him one of the most sought-after DJs in the world. DJ Pauly D, March 7th. Hurry, get your tickets now at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on it.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. 141 Wednesday. Very interesting Olympic day. In curling, in hockey, we'll have it all for you as you roll along. Right now, though, it's Declinations, brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca, article, podcast, and more, breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth double E football coverage online, elksnation.ca. All right, sir, where do you want to go?
Well, I guess we got to talk a little college basketball, don't we?
Well, it is the day.
Number 1 seed Arizona just lost to Kansas last night. Or what's today? Tuesday? No, Wednesday. 2 nights ago?
See, this is what happened to me about the hockey game. It's
it happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, all those concussions from boxing. Don't even know what day it is. But no, Kansas. So Kansas, I read an incredible stat about Kansas. In the Bill Self era, in top 10 games, when they are the lower seeded team, they are 15-0. And for anyone who doesn't know, anyone who isn't, it's an unbelievable stat. Anyone who's not following the college basketball world right now, Arizona was undefeated. They were the number 1 team in the country. They had beaten UConn earlier in the year. They were undefeated in the Big 12, obviously, because they were undefeated. And they play Kansas, a really tough Kansas team with this guy named Darren Peterson, who's going to be, if not the first pick in the draft, the second, top 3 at worst, even though I think he's probably going to be the first pick in the draft. He's got to play. But they take down this Arizona team that had been looking like a monster. Like I've talked about Ken Palm a lot. Arizona's Ken Palm rating this season was 36. There have been 8 teams since 2000, maybe further back, that have had a net rating of 35 or above. All of those have made the Final Four. So this Arizona team was tracking to be like a historically great team in terms of net rating. I still think they're very good. I'm sure their Ken Palm net rating is still very high. But this Kansas team, and you know what? It's crazy because I did a hit with Brandon Douglas a few weeks ago, and he had texted me the night before and be like, "Hey, you want to come on and talk some college basketball?" And I was sitting there thinking, like, I wonder if he's going to ask me a team outside of the top 10 who I think could actually win it. And at the time, Kansas was sitting 11th. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, this would be my pick. Because Darren Peterson, you need a dynamic guard who can take over in a game. College basketball is much more team oriented than the NBA. That's superstar driven, but you still need a player who can take over. Darren Peterson is that guy. They obviously just beat Arizona. They're going to shoot up the rankings now. They'd beaten BYU, who's got another guy who's going to be a top 1, 2, 3 pick, and AJ DeMonsa a little earlier in the season. Like, this Kansas team is one. I don't know where they're going to be seated. We're going to need to see what happens in the Big 12 tournament. They may end up losing to Arizona in the tournament again, something like that. Arizona's very good. I think they actually might even play Arizona again. So we'll see how it gets set up in that sense. But that Kansas team is one to watch out for. And then that Arizona team I was talking about as well. Like, I had mentioned this. Like, I think they're going to be a team that they were 22-0. But I think they're going to be a team that their schedule gets real tough. I think it's like Kansas twice, BYU, Texas Tech, Iowa State, Houston, all top 15 teams in conference play. Now, most of those games are at home, except for a couple. I know they also got to play Baylor on the road. That would be like their schedule, their record is going to get a little bit, like it's going to go from 22-0 to 25-4 or something like that. And people are going to kind of be like, hey, Arizona fraudulent. Like, I don't know if we believe in them anymore, but I'm here to tell you, Arizona is still a great team. And that net rating reflects that.
Wow. This is the period of time, honestly, where I start thinking about like the March Madness. Right?
Oh yeah. This is, yeah, you're absolutely right.
So when we're talking about outlier teams,
yeah,
that have made such an impact that even though we don't know them, there was a time when if Seton Hall wasn't in, or Georgetown wasn't in, or North Carolina or Duke forever. But is there a team that either has, like the football team that had been out, like nobody even thought about them, and then they win the national championship? Is there anything like that in college basketball right now, where a team that either hasn't been competitive for a long, long time, or is just coming out of nowhere, like, Austin P or Oral Roberts or some kind of like,
love those references.
Well, just like a really like distant bell. Is there anything like that this year?
I think a really popular pick for that is going to be Miami of Ohio.
Okay.
They're the last undefeated team in the country. They're 24-0, I believe it is. The problem with them is their KenPom rating is like 90th. Now, there are 365 teams, so 90 actually isn't that terrible, but the undefeated record kind of boasts that. Last I looked, their luck rating, like I said, 365 teams. Their luck rating is like 8th. And that was last I looked. That might have been about a week ago, so it could have changed. But they're really lucky. They play in a really, really weak MAC conference. They don't, like, I talked about this as well. Not only do they not have a quad 1 win, which isn't, super unexpected, but since they're undefeated, they don't even have a quad 1 game played. And they only have 2 quad 2 games played last I checked. And that's through 24 games of the season. So I think Miami, like, they shoot the ball incredibly well. They got like 6 guys who shoot it about 40% from 3. Braden Burries, I think his name is this dude, white guy with a mullet, leads the team in scoring, kind of got a little bit of swag to him. I think he's going to be they're going to be a popular pick to make a run in the tournament, but I think it's a little bit of fool's gold. I don't want to disrespect them because 24-0 is really tough to do. There's one undefeated college basketball team, and it's them. But they've like beyond an easy schedule. They have 2 quad 2 games, 24 games into the season. Like, easy schedule, easy conference. That Akron team, who's the best team they've beaten, still probably isn't that good. A lot of people are going to be high on them. I would probably shy away. If you wanted to pick a mid-major to hitch your wagon to, or maybe win a game or two, what St. Louis is doing is incredible. And St. Louis is actually ranked higher than Miami of Ohio. They had 1 loss last time I checked. Robbie Avila, who played at Indiana State last year, got the weird kind of chunky looking dude with goggles. He's on the team, leads them in points at about 13 a night. They play great team basketball. St. Louis would be a team I look at.
Interesting. I love that stuff. I really do. Final question. I'm sorry that these things just hit me, but
no, this is good.
I know that there's all kinds of excitement and disappointment when they announce the 64 and then the play-ins or whatever. But is the reason why football is so upsetting that some teams get in and some teams don't, is that it's such a small group that gets into In this case, the opportunity to play for the national championship. And with basketball, it's like 64 plus teams.
68, yeah. 68. So I hate to do this.
Yes.
I'm no microphone, no headphones on. Sitting over here. I might have missed the actual question.
Oh, the question.
The
question was, why is it that in basketball people can still get upset that their team doesn't get in?
Oh yeah.
But the seeds are important, and there's not a sense of upset like there is maybe in football.
I think the biggest thing is because like anything can happen in the tournament.
Right.
Like seeds, I don't want to call them irrelevant at all because, it certainly dictates how easy your path is in terms of opponent. But like one game in basketball, anything can happen. You can get hot from the field. Your opponent can get cold. Everyone can really lock in defensively. It can just be a great matchup for you. You might find a team that doesn't really, they don't run the best press breaks, and you're a team that really presses. Like, all you have to do in March Madness is be in the dance, and anything can happen. And yeah, it's cool to be a 1 seed. Like, it's great to have that favorable path. But everyone knows once you get past really even including the first weekend, anything can happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the allure of it. Not as much focusing on seeding. Because like in college football, it's only 12 teams. In college basketball, it's 68. And it really kind of is, any given night, any team can go out and win.
Are you complete?
I am. I'm a little out of breath, too.
Okay. I got something from Cam Tate.
I did that off the top, by the way.
Yeah,
it's because you can't breathe from your nose.
Yeah. Mouth breather. Mouth breather! Okay, I'm done. Cam Tate sent this in about dumbest thing you ever did. When I was a kid, my dad was taking his time at the co-op in North Battleford. All the terrible things you said about North Battleford. Cam Tate grew up there. Nice. I was bored. I wondered how the cigarette lighter was in the car, how it worked. I tested it on my right cheek. Scar is still there.
Way to go, Tater. Way to go.
Man, I'm feeling so much better about my lawnmower thing.
No disrespect, Tater, but that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
I won't tell you the name of the person, but a person I know took I'm not going to say it because somebody out there will try.
Okay.
Just don't photocopy anything aside from pieces of paper. That's all I'm going to say to you.
Noted.
All right. And he did tell me what he did, and I'm glad he didn't tell you on the air. Some things need to not be told. Oh, Titan says, yeah, that Arizona game did me badly on my 8-game college hoops parlay last night.
Ooh, what were the other 7 games? I would love to know. Because it sounds like if you went 7 for 8, you really know college ball. So credit to you. I want to know what the other 7 games were.
Maybe it's just a big-time Titus and Tate listener. Underrated, by the way, Titus and Tate.
So tomorrow on the show, we're obviously going to be teeing up the first Canada game at the Olympics. It will be Thursday, which means Bagged Milk will be on the show. But as we turn our attention to the events that are occurring like on the ice and on the court and that sort of thing, is there anything that we can drill down on in terms of the NBA? I mean, we talked about the suspension today. I know there are, I read something about some buyouts, but that's a distant bell. What are some things that we can discuss about the NBA tomorrow?
Well, so Declan got himself mixed up today because today is Duncan with Declan and it's not Declan CAA.
Oh,
it's
but
okay.
That's okay.
It's
I wasn't
okay.
going to correct him. He really like
spoke
Arizona
passionately.
is a very that storyline is very important, and March
And also,
Madness is the most magical thing on the planet.
I thought Team Canada was playing today in men's ice hockey.
Yeah,
so
that's a
we were
classic.
We're
So,
a day
you know,
behind, kind of thing.
This is
that's
like
okay.
the
He's been running
listeners are
around.
the listeners are there being like, when my goat's washed.
Yeah, that's you. So something prevalent that happened last night, essentially, Victor Wembanyama scored 25 points in 8 minutes and only missed 1 shot. And now I understand that the Lakers were missing all 5 of their starters. That being said, nobody scores 25 points in 8 minutes.
That's
on efficiency
incredible.
like he did.
I'd
Again,
like to see the
OptaStats-
tape.
OptaStats, my best friend, I don't think that they have for the end of the game. Victor Wembanyama of the Spurs scored 40 points tonight in just 26 minutes of action. That's the fewest minutes played by any NBA player in a 40-point game since Houston's Sleepy Floyd had 40 points in 24 minutes on February 26, 1991.
No.
If you're in that...
That's a great name, Sleepy Floyd.
Sleepy Floyd is a great one. My dad made me watch the 50-point game once upon a time. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to say Victor Wembanyama, absolute alien greatness before our eyes. So there's that.
Titan said he was the one who talked about Arizona State game. I'm sitting in Montana's in North Battleford right now. We should do a live show from North Battleford.
You wish, but you said you'd never do a live show with us, or you'd never drive anywhere with us ever. So,
well,
it's sort of tough.
I mean, honestly, I think that you guys take so many cool points away from yourself when you're seen in public with me. I'm doing you a public service. All right. Jason Krueger on the way. Thanks so much for tuning into the Lowdown. Please enjoy your afternoon.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Olympic action is continuing as curling is underway. Canada and Germany are tied at 6 and are in extra ends. Canada failed to medal in men's and women's double luge, as well as 1,000-meter men's speed skating, men's free dance, figure skating. Canada narrowly missed a medal, coming in 4th. Coming up, men's ice hockey continues with Sweden playing against Italy right now, and Sweden is up 2-1. Gustav Forsling giving Sweden the go-ahead goal as of right now. On the hardwood, 14 games to be played tonight. Raptors will host the Pistons. Tip-off at 5:30, and the nightcap will see the Spurs at Golden State taking on the Warriors. Off the court, the Pistons and Hornets players have been assessed with suspensions for the brawl on Monday night. Isaiah Stewart will face 7 games, and Jalen Duren will face 2 for the Pistons and 4 games for each of the Hornets players. In MLB, pitchers and catchers have reported today. Next on Sports 1440, the great Jason Krueger Show. I'm Mackenzie, and that's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Mr. Reuter gets a colonoscopy.
All right, Mr. Reuter, just relax. We're almost finished.
Now, what am I looking at on the screen?
That's your large intestine.
Wow, the pipes of the human body. Incredible. This is just like when we use a camera for sewer inspection, except you probably don't find tree roots.